and welcome to another episode of the SMEFocus show brought to you by FactoryNOW TV. I'm your host, Chris Greenough, and in this series we will focus on the work of British manufacturing and SMEs. Every week we will discuss and analyse the opportunities and challenges facing our industry in these unprecedented times. I have worked in the sector for over 26 years and I'm CCO at SD Technology, one of the leading manufacturers of pressings and assemblies in the UK. So I hope you can appreciate this show is very much for manufacturers by manufacturers. My guest today is Nick Smith, Chief Executive Officer at Bott Ltd. Nick, welcome to the show. Nice to see you.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Christopher, for the invitation.
Absolutely welcome. So tell us about Bott Ltd and what you do.
Well, Bott Ltd, we're part of a family group, the Bott Group. We are represented in about 95 countries through our own direct organisation and indeed partners. In the UK, we have three main sites: here in Bude, where we have a production facility, in Ashby, where we have our main fulfilment conversion centre, and Cumbernauld, also a conversion centre. And we have two main elements to our business there. We have our workplace systems and storage solutions, and we have our vehicle conversion business.
Fantastic. So in terms of turnover, number of staff you have currently?
So in the UK, we will be about 40 million this year with about 400 employees. This is slightly less than previous years with the COVID impact, but ramping up nicely, I would say, on the top line.
And you mentioned COVID, so obviously 2020 was a very tough year for most businesses. How did you navigate your way through last year?
Yeah, first and foremost, I've been in the role about 3-4 months actually at that point. First and foremost was safety of employees, clearly. Yeah. That was a big thing for us. And it was quite difficult to navigate the guidance, I would say, in the initial stages. You know, were we to close or not? But we took the view to shut down all our operations in the UK and use that opportunity to relay some of our processes. So if you could imagine in our vehicle conversion business, you may have 2 or 3 people at one time working in and out of vehicles. So we had to really rethink the productivity around that. So after about 3 or 4 weeks, we kind of got the information from the Department of Business and Trade that it was okay to keep manufacturing. So we then took the view to gradually start up, but we done it in a very kind of slow ramp up basis with about 25% of the business. So that caused in itself some challenges because actually there was still a lot of business out there that say, hey, we continue working and where's our production? So, hey, we need to do this responsibly. But I'm delighted about the way customers were patient and indeed our own employees took, let's say, the right approach because we did require a lot of multitasking and flexibility, whether it was on their hours or just sharing in different roles and rotation. So it was a time that I think all of us in our personal lives as well were learning week by week. So we felt we had the right approach at the start, but then we evolved it through those months.
Absolutely. So 2020, the end of March and then early April, the advice coming out was constantly changing. The furlough scheme was being looked at, and it was very difficult for most business. And as you say, you were in the role 3 or 4 months at that point. You must have thought, what have I got myself into?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we had a fabulous team here, and this is a way how we kind of mustered together in many ways. I mean, let's be frank, COVID was devastating from a societal or economic impact, but it accelerated many other things. And I think that created some opportunities, certainly to increase a lot of communication, because, you know, we had a lot of people working from home. We were very aware of anxieties being caused by people that were at home as well, wondering what it looked like. I mean, I remember at the very start, we thought this would be 2-3 weeks, maybe a month or two, and we'll be through it. But when you start having a really duration, it was quite some challenging times. So we really had to work on sometimes the mental side to make sure people felt that you're still part of the team, even if we're only 20-30% ramping up. And on the other side, some parts of our business, so we're a traditional manufacturer that really entered into the digital market a number of years ago. But this really accelerated through COVID. And you hear this story for many companies as well. So taking our product online to a self-fit solution would have been a genius 5 years ago, but it really came into its own last year where suddenly it just went boom, 200% year-on-year growth. So it was, from us, a lot of learning, and actually our continuation digital investment became really, really solid. So if anything, it accelerated many things, communication, technology. And if you look at core manufacturing as well, this gave us opportunity to rethink the normal layout. You know, what could we do? Let's be more lean. And I think that really, perhaps you wouldn't have done in normal times so quickly. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
The any change that was there, maybe in the background, was very quickly accelerated. You had to sell, as you said, to your customers in a different way. You had to go online, be digital. Now, Bott has always invested in its workforce, and you continue to invest in apprenticeships. Why do you see that so important to the company?
Oh, absolutely. We have a long tradition of this. We have strength from the 70s when we started, actually, and currently we have 7 apprentices coming through the business. We're looking for another 4 at the moment, going through a recruitment drive. And if I look at my, dare I say, top team, but the senior management team, they've all come through apprenticeships. So I'm probably the outsider coming in, but we've got about 20 that have remained through the business, and we're looking for 30, 40 years worth of longevity. So they are the backbone. What is interesting now, I think, is a challenge for sure in finding great resources out there anyhow, but you've got a traditionalist production environment that's now thinking more about lean, going into digital technology as well. So this gives us an opportunity to attract apprentices to say, hey, you come into this area, but we will give the opportunity to rotate through the business, because frankly, I didn't know where I wanted to be when I was 16. Why would any apprentice kind of know where they want to fit? Is it in CAD design? Is it in actual engineering? Is it in the sales office?
Yeah.
So we really want to give them the opportunity to expand themselves through that and give them the opportunity to see which fits for them. So, and we really like to use our apprentices to also self-promote out there as well, to go out to those schools and get them involved. But the thing I picked up on actually was, it's one thing to have the apprentices coming through, but to keep that development going as well, actually post their apprenticeship, because that's really when the mentoring really can start as well to develop.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
we're very committed to this fully.
Absolutely, and I think bringing new talent into your business can also take your businesses in a completely new direction. And as you say, there's lots of things now where your business has changed, whether it be online marketing, whether it be this networking, the calls are now completely different. So it is a very different business now than we were in 12 months ago. So what about current pressures on the business? Obviously, we've had COVID, we've had Brexit. There's now a lot of talk of supply chain issues, shortages, price increases. How are you managing to keep your product and your extended sales going with all these pressures?
Yeah, well, Christopher, it has been a perfect storm. We did, in fact, increase our inventories before Brexit. So I think the supply chain has been very challenging. And I would say the pricing itself has been unsustainable. And indeed, the supply availability has been critical at times. But we've managed to kind of muster through with the inventories we have. But clearly, we're coming to the eye of the storm at the moment. And I just hope it calms down from a supply point of view. I always say to the team that we're going to manage the things we can right now. There are external factors. It will calm down at some point. We just need to make sure we keep going on good quality and get stuff out the door and communicate with our customers.
Yes.
Actually, I think right now there are other challenges as well, aside from just the supply chain. I think actually general resourcing is quite challenging. Finding, for instance, the logistics environment is very difficult at the moment with Brexit. Of course, you've got the cost side of increased admin and logistics itself, but finding drivers. We have our own fleet, and we reverted to using our own fleet to go back across to France and Germany, which initially we were going to stop doing using freight forwarders, but they simply couldn't cope. So I'm really grateful of our own team that will say, hey, we'll get back on the road, we'll go back out there, because we're using them in our UK side as well. So what we have seen, though, is more customers onshoring. So this has been an advantage actually for UK PLC, I would say. So a lot of customers said, hey, we were maybe getting our supplies from the Far East. We've seen a lot more increased inquiries for UK. So that's been great for our production. And now actually we're producing many of our products for the wider group and other export markets. So although Brexit from the outside looked kind of dim, actually from a UK perspective, it's been pretty good. The materials coming into the UK has been challenging. For us, exporting has been very positive, and particularly for UK customers. So again,
Absolutely.
we'll focus on what we can focus at the moment, Christopher, but I really hope and pray the supply chain eventually calms down. And my wife is desperate to get a barbecue at home. You know, you see the lead time on these things. So anyway,
it's unbelievable. From where we were, people thought, well, once we get through COVID, the order books would come back, and maybe through 2021 they would come back, and we'd be back at the end of 2021 to pre-COVID levels. But they're already there. Many businesses, including ours, are now got record order books, and it's the supply chain that's failing, but it will catch up. So how do you see the rest of 2021? What are your plans?
well, you know, the supply chain did catch us out, and we were seeing amazing top line growth. So digital was going great. A
Yeah.
lot more investment was going on in terms of big production facilities, which was great for our business as well, and recruiting. So we're going to continue on our strategy. We're not going to let that external influence change us, because we think that's a short blip, maybe 6 months. So we'll continue to invest. Yeah, we'll continue to bring on board apprentices, and we're still recruiting in our digital area right now. And we keep going because, as you said, the top line seems very, very positive at the moment. So we want to just make sure we don't lose some of the things that we learned from COVID and go back to always. We want to make sure we keep the communication with our employees and customers really high as well. So if we can take all the good bits and keep going, then I think we're in a very strong place. So it'll be a year where we say, okay, we block and tackle a little bit, get through, and I see many, many positive things into 2022.
Absolutely. So on that note, you're looking for more apprentices, you're looking for more order book, and you're going to continue to invest. Nick, fantastic to hear about yourself and Bott Ltd and all the great work you're doing. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to the end of another show. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to meeting more of our brilliant SME manufacturers like Nick and his team next week, and indeed those involved in the manufacturing sector. If you would like to get in touch with the show with a comment, a suggestion, or to appear on a future episode, please email us tv@mtd.media. We're always looking for stories on investment, job creation, new sites being built in the UK, and especially focusing on SMEs. So from me, Chris G at SDE, goodbye.